Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, Season 1, Episode 5. By far, the most explosive episode. Ramona, I'm about to wear you out from beginning, middle, and end.
And you're gonna always get it again and again and again.
Because the entitlement, the self-centeredness, the rudeness, the arrogance, the lack of self-awareness. I'm like, girl, where does it end with you? Like, who raised you? Y'all, let me not jump ahead. Let's just get right on into this recap because we don't have a minute to spare. The episode starts off with Kyle and Ramona in the confessional, and they're talking about what a great time they had the night before. Remember that the night before, Melissa hosted the game night. So now we see Luann going into the kitchen, and she's kind of feeling flustered from last night. She says that she kind of feels embarrassed, like she's doing a walk of shame because Michael's mother's in the kitchen getting everything ready. And I was cracking up because Luann definitely had nervous energy. She was moving like a guilty woman. She's trying to make small talk to the whole staff, and she's like, yeah, like, beautiful day, right? Like, oh my gosh, like, such a nice day. Like, the breakfast smells good. And they're all kind of like, girl, like, what's going on? I was like, Luann, just be quiet, girl. Stop being so nervous. Go back to your room if you feel weird around Michael's mom. We flip back to Ramona and Kyle in their confessional, and Ramona is saying that her and Kenya just aren't gelling, and she feels like Kenya is trying to say things to get under her skin and make her react. I said, girl, do you not see yourself? Because that's what you've been doing. You have been saying some really nasty, shady stuff the entire time. And those microaggressions with you calling Kenya Portia, girl, stop. I don't like how Ramona is trying to take this victim role and act like Kenya is the big bad wolf. Stop it. And we really see the delusions jump out because Ramona has the nerve to say in her solo confessional that she's really done a 180 and she's a softer, kinder, and nicer person. I said, Ramona, the fact that you believe the lies that you're telling yourself, that's a problem right there. So today is Kenya's day, and she's doing a yacht party for all the ladies, and everybody is super excited. So they all get ready, and let me just say this, because I've been meaning to say it for quite some time. Melissa's body is on point. She came strutting out with that Christian Dior bag and that two-piece. I said, on point. So they're on their way to the yacht, and it's Luann, Kenya, Kyle, and Melissa in the car together, and then Cynthia, Teresa, and Ramona in the other car. So Kenya says that everybody looks great except for Ramona. So they all agree that Ramona looks like she's going to a rock concert, and then Luann says that she loves to travel well-dressed. Kenya agrees, and then she adds on that she hates seeing people dressed badly at the airport. She loves a polished look. So now Kenya tells a story about how she was upset with her nanny when they flew private a while back. She says that her nanny got on the plane with some flip-flops and a big oversized logo tee, and she was like, girl, like, no ma'am, I'm gonna need you to do better than this. So Kyle's like, this is the most unrelatable conversation I have ever heard. Like, you're mad because your nanny wore flip-flops on a private plane? Like, I thought that the girls in Beverly Hills were particular, but I guess not. I know everybody's different. This is just a personal preference. I'm speaking on me, but I related to them heavily when they said that they like to look good and get dressed up when they fly, because I'm the same way. Like, I like to have everything on point, hair done, you know, makeup done, cute outfit on, you know what I'm saying? My motto is, there is no such thing as being overdressed, okay? So the ladies arrive to the marina, they hop on the yacht, everybody's excited, the good vibes, everybody's in a good mood. And Kenya says that she's excited because today is a rich bitch yacht day and it's all about having a good time. I said, I know that's right. We are here for a good rich bitch day, okay? Listen, if you're new here, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I love to spend some money, okay? My motto is life is short, you can't take it with you, and if I have it, I'm spending it. So while they're getting their lives on the yacht, a paparazzi boat appears, and Kyle's like, oh my gosh, are those the paparazzi? Like, I'm not trying to have them take pictures of me while I'm stuffing my face with a cheeseburger, okay? So we know how Kyle is. While she's acting like she's nervous and upset that the paparazzi are there, she's secretly loving it. Now here's where things go left. The sun all of a sudden goes away and now it starts raining. So all the ladies go downstairs and they have some lunch. So while they're eating, Kyle makes a joke about how rude Ramona can be when she talks to people, especially waitstaff. And if you've been watching New York, then you know that every time they go on vacation and they stay at a villa, Ramona always shows her ass. She is always demanding that somebody put away her luggage. She's really just the absolute worst. Ramona says that when she watches the show back, she's appalled at how rude she can be. I said, girl, you're not that appalled because you keep doing it. Anytime you really do want to change your behavior, you will actually try to change. Ramona is all lip service. She has no desire to be a better person whatsoever. It's just the same old song and dance from her. Ramona lies and says that the show absolutely has made her more self-aware. Luann now cuts in and says, girl, that's not true at all because you are still notorious for being really nasty to waitstaff. So now Ramona gets upset and she's like, Luann, stop it. Like, that's not true. Stop lying. Luann says, girl, I'm not lying. I'm just telling the truth. Like, you're still a jackass. Then Luann says, and I was actually going to pay you a compliment because I will say that you've gotten a little bit better. It is such a pet peeve of mine to come across rude people. I'm not saying that you have to walk around with a big smile plastered on your face 24/7, but just having common decency, I just don't understand why that's such a hard thing. Like, I will never be able to wrap my head around folks who are rude to people who are in service jobs. I hate people who can only show respect and kindness to somebody who they feel is in a powerful position. Nobody is any better than anybody else. Treat everybody with some respect, period. And it's so funny how Ramona likes to act like she exhibits such highbrow behavior when she really acts very low class a good majority of the time. Having no regard for anybody else, that is very lowbrow behavior. And I don't care how much money you have in the bank. Money can never replace character and just being an overall compassionate human being who has some sort of civility to other people. So now Ramona goes into a sob story about how she was the oldest of 4 children and her mom said that her and her siblings were all mistakes. So Kenya says, girl, I don't even want to hear it because my mom wasn't even in my life and yet I have never spoken to anybody poorly the way you have. Like, I treat people with respect. Something that you can't seem to do. So please spare me about your sob story because we all have one and that's no excuse. So Kyle interjects and while she's talking, Melissa and Ramona, since they're sitting next to each other, they're like making funny faces and they're not listening. So Kenya's like, Melissa, can you please be respectful when other folks are talking? So Melissa says, well, I mean, I already heard this before. Like, I don't need to hear this again. So now Kenya's like, oh, really, Melissa? Are you pulling Ramona? Because remember how Ramona pulled that same stunt when they were on the catamaran in episode 2, and she didn't want to listen to Luann's story because she had heard it before. So now Cynthia jumps in and she's like, can everybody be respectful, please? Because it's been too much of everybody cutting each other off. Everybody just be mindful about cutting people off because I genuinely want to hear what each one of you guys has to say. So Melissa says in her confessional that she had no idea that Cynthia was just so serious. So Melissa makes a joke and she's like, look, we all need to be more self-aware. We all need to do better. but let's just face it, we are all attention whores. So obviously Melissa was just joking when she said that, but Cynthia took it the wrong way. So Cynthia's like, girl, do not call me that because I am not somebody who is clamoring for the spotlight. Now, Cynthia, I beg to differ because anybody who wants to be in front of the camera, okay, in any capacity, you do want the attention. So please miss me with that, I don't care about fame. I don't care about having the attention. Like, that's not true because you're on this little media tour talking about how sad you are that you're no longer on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So, girl, stop. Nobody who gets on reality TV is a shrinking violet. As if things couldn't get any worse. Kenya's like, all right, y'all, let's play a game. The game is called Who Said That? Cynthia reads the first card, and the card says something like, I trusted her for years, but who the hell calls their husband's ex-girlfriends to get dirt on them? Like, who does that? So everybody's trying to guess about who said that. And then Melissa and Kyle figure out that it was Luann who said that about Ramona. So Luann's like, oh yeah, I remember saying that because Ramona was calling Tom's ex-girlfriends behind my back. So Ramona says, I sure did because Tom had just bought 3 of his ex-girlfriends Cartier bracelets, and I thought that you should know that because what man does that? He's engaged to you, buying his ex-girlfriend's Cartier? Like, girl, what? Then Ramona adds that Tom was still having sex with his ex-girlfriends too while being engaged to Luann. So now Teresa jumps in and she's like, so what? He married Luann, not them. I was like, Teresa, what? Girl, if you marry a bum, does it really matter that you're married? If he's a loser, you're not winning any prize. You do know that, right? Luann says, in retrospect, Ramona wasn't wrong about Tom, but she was wrong for digging. Then Ramona goes on to say that she's a girl's girl and she would protect any of them. So now Kenya falls to the floor laughing like, bitch, I'm dead. The fact that Ramona said that she's a girl's girl, like, that's a joke. So things really go left because Ramona makes an offhanded remark that Luann had sex with Tom the first night that they met. So Luann hears it and she gets up and she's like, Ramona, what did you just say? So Ramona's playing dumb like she always does, and then she finally comes clean about what she said. So while this is going on, mind you, Teresa is screaming in the background because she's really pissed at Ramona for being nasty to Luann. She's screaming like, she's not a little girl. Why the F do you care if she had sex with him on the first night? So now Luann is cursing Ramona out, and she's like, you know what, Ramona? You're never going to change. Take this and shove it up your ass. So she walks away, and of course the whole mood is ruined. So Ramona keeps screaming to Luann that she warned Luann, and then Luann keeps screaming to Ramona that he married me. I was like, girl, that is not any badge of honor that a lying cheater married you. You see how the marriage went? I mean, you guys were only together for 10 months, and within that 10 months, you said that he was always out creeping around with his ex-girlfriends again. So please stop waving that I was married to him card, because what was that marriage? That marriage was nothing. If I ever get stupid like these women when it comes to men, just slap me. Just give me a good old... Kyle's sitting next to Ramona, and she's trying to let Ramona know, you messed up, you poured salt in a wound, you really hurt your friend, like, you don't understand. Luann really loved this man, and her heart is broken. And what you said was really cold and just not right. So, of course, Ramona can't seem to understand her actions. And she's like, well, look, they had sex on the first night and, it wasn't serious. So Kyle's like, Ramona, you can't say things like that. Like, you've never had sex with a man on the first night? So she's like, never. So Kyle's like, oh my gosh, like, no wonder you're so self-righteous. So now Ramona, because she knows that she put her foot in her mouth, she backtracks and says, you know what? I actually want to be like Luann. Like, I want to be more sexual. I want to be more in touch with my sexuality. Like, I actually want to have sex with a man on the first night, okay? Like, I really admire that about Luann. And if you know Ramona, then you know that she is famous for kissing your ass after she just insulted you. Kyle makes a good point that Ramona is famous for throwing jabs and then leaving a whole trail of hurt feelings behind. So Kenya's listening to what Ramona's saying, and then Kenya's like, what a crock of bullshit. So Ramona turns around to Kenya and says, F you to Kenya. So now Kenya flips. She's like, girl, don't you ever speak to me like that. Like, I don't know what you think this is, but I ain't the one or the two. I let you slide on the plane when you called me a bitch, but do not ever tell me to go F myself. Like, don't do that. Kenya threatens to throw Ramona off the boat, and then she goes around and she says, you've insulted everybody in this group so far. You insulted Teresa. Then Kenya turns to Cynthia and says, did she insult you too, Cynthia? And Cynthia says, I really don't know. I don't think so. Like, I don't remember. So Kenya's like, okay, girl, like, now you can't remember that she insulted you, like, whatever. So now Kenya turns back to Ramona, and she's like, you think you're a queen, but you're actually a peasant. Like, I'm an icon. So Kenya gets so angry that she snatches the margarita out of Ramona's hand. I was like, oh my gosh, Kenya, why'd you do that? Like, So now Ramona is like shrieking, like, oh my gosh, like she touched me, like, oh my gosh. I was like, Kenya, don't, like, please, the optics, you know how this goes. The black woman is going to be labeled as the aggressor for snatching a margarita out of a white woman's hand, and you know how Ramona gets. I was like, I understood why Kenya was so angry, but I just wish that she did not snatch that margarita out of Ramona's hand. Now, I will say, I felt like folks gassed it up on social media because I thought that Kenya hit her. I was like, oh my gosh, please tell me that Kenya did not hit Ramona. Like, that's the last thing that we need, especially coming from a dreadful season of Potomac. So I was like, please, but thank God she did not hit her. She just snatched the margarita out and the margarita flew everywhere, but that's not good either. Melissa says that Kenya goes from 0 to 100 real quick. Then Kyle says she's been liking Kenya for a long time, but now she's starting to see that side of her that other people warned her about. Cynthia says in her confessional, I don't care how bad we're not getting along, don't snatch anything out of my hands. And I'd rather be called a bitch than a peasant. Like, peasant just hits differently. So you can already see the demise of Kenya and Cynthia's friendship in these confessionals. I'm with Cynthia too. We can be arguing down, you can curse me out, whatever. But please don't snatch anything out of my hand. You know, like, just don't. Just keep your hands where I can see them, okay? You know, like, keep them right here. But I think that Ramona just takes people to another level because she's just so awful. Now Ramona is picking at Kenya again, and she says, you know what, Kenya? You seem to have a thing for me. So Kenya says, girl, don't try it. You started with me first. Kenya's livid. She goes downstairs. Cynthia and Teresa follow behind her to make sure that she's okay. And Kenya says that the way Ramona spoke to her is a trigger for her. She continues by saying that Mark spoke to her poorly all throughout their marriage, and she didn't stand up for herself. And she says that she's not going to let that happen again. So Cynthia's listening to Kenya, and she's like, Kenya, I understand, but you just can't kick her off the boat. Like, just try to be civil with her. Kenya says, don't tell me what to do. Then she brings up when Ramona insulted Cynthia, and Cynthia didn't seem to remember. So Cynthia's like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't remember that she insulted me. Like, is that a crime? And again, you can just see where Kenya and Cynthia's friendship is unraveling. Like, they really just aren't seeing eye to eye. Low-key, this trip was the wrong trip for their friendship. Now we see Ramona, Kyle, and Melissa talking about Kenya. Ramona says that she's been walking on eggshells with Kenya this entire time. I said, no, you haven't. Calling someone a bitch and telling somebody F you, I'd hardly call that walking on eggshells. You seem to be just fine. You're just upset that Kenya put you in your place. So now Ramona pulls the ultimate Karen move, and she says, why is she attacking me? I was like, you know what? I really hate how women like Ramona start stuff with other people, particularly with black women. Then when the black woman claps back and defends herself, then all of a sudden she's the bully and you're the innocent victim. And we witnessed that on this last season of Beverly Hills when Dorit was pulling those Karen moves saying that Garcelle was a bully, and Garcelle had never even raised her voice at Dorit. Now Melissa goes over to see where Kenya is, and she wants to make sure that Kenya's okay. Kenya's like, look, tell your friend she better not say one word to me the remainder of this trip. Like, I'm done. Melissa says, I understand how you feel, Kenya, but I do have to say that you are a very strong and domineering person. Kenya gets upset and she says, girl, what's your point? Like, how does she get to say vile things to people, but now she's the victim? And I agree, because Ramona, like I've been saying, is an absolute jackass, and people seem to let her slide again and again and again, and we never hear anybody call her aggressive. And let me say, Melissa, I was upset by you saying that Kenya was strong and domineering. I don't know why, but a lot of people associate black womanhood with being strong. And I'm sorry, but I reject that whole notion, okay? I always say I am not a strong black woman. I am delicate like a flower, okay? And I was just upset that Melissa chose those two words to use. Now we flip back to Kyle trying to reason with Ramona. And she says that dealing with Ramona is like dealing with a child. So they walk over to find Kenya, and Kenya immediately walks to the other side of the boat, and she says under her breath, she better not come next to me. Like, I don't want to talk to her. I don't want to see her. I don't want to hear her. Like, get her out of my sight. Ramona finds Luann, and she gives her the most insincere apology. She's like, you know what, Luann? I'm so sorry, okay? I want to be like you. Like, I'm actually jealous of you because I want to be more sexual and free just like you are. I said, I don't believe not one word of this apology. It is insincere. It's a lie. I don't believe that Ramona wants to be like Luann at all. I just don't. I mean, Ramona is 65. If she wants to have sex with a man on the first night, I'm sure she can call somebody on her phone and they'll gladly come over. So I don't feel like she's jealous of Luann. I think that she's a hateful person, and she will say whatever she has to say so that the other person stops being mad at her. Ramona and Luann hug. Luann says, I already forgave you. And then, of course, Ramona has to put her foot in her mouth yet again. And she's like, but I will say, I always knew that he was a train wreck. I was like, Ramona, like, why can't you quit while you're ahead? Why was that necessary for you to say? There is something seriously wrong with Ramona, and I'm going to need her to get help for it immediately, because no normal, sane person behaves like this. Luann walks away, and she's like, I'm done. I can't take this. I've washed my hands of her. Like, I'm just over this.
Oh! Shout out to everybody. I had fun.
I gotta be good.
Teresa walks over to Luann, and she's asking Luann if she's okay. Teresa also feels like Luann is way too nice in this situation. Like, she wants Luann to really just curse her out like a few good times. So now the ladies finally stop arguing, and everybody's trying to salvage the rest of their time on the yacht. I personally would have ignored all the chaos, because when I tell you, I do not have time for any bad vibes on a vacation. I can tell you that. Like, do not come to me with any BS. Like, just don't, because I'll curse you out. Like, don't do it. Kenya lets them know that they're going to be going to a sandbar so that they can film a TikTok. So, they're filming the TikTok, and baby, half these ladies have no rhythm. I mean, Cynthia was struggling. Ramona was struggling to find the beat. Luann was struggling to find the beat. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, y'all cannot dance at all. And it was a really simple TikTok dance. Like, it was nothing elaborate. And I loved Kyle's neon pink swimsuit that she changed into for the TikTok. She looked really good. So their yacht day, beach day is over, and the ladies are back in the villa. They're all getting ready for dinner, and everybody's super excited because the dinner is going to be cooked by Teresa. Now, let me tell you something. Teresa can cook, okay? And Teresa, if I ever meet you, I want to come over and I want to have some food. Italian food is my love language. Like, that is my favorite cuisine of all time. I could eat Italian food breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, stop playing with me.
I love it. I love it.
Teresa's in the kitchen. She's with the head chef and she's making the food. She has her meatballs, her chicken parmesan, the pasta. She's making the sauce from scratch. I said, Teresa, girl, stop playing. I will be over for dinner immediately. Just give me a call, honey. I will bring over some dessert, some champagne, because you never go to anybody's house empty-handed, all right? I was raised right. But let me tell you something, sis. Like, I will be over there with the quickness. And of course, Ramona walks in the kitchen and she wants to help Teresa. So Teresa's like, girl, I don't need your help, but thank you anyway. So now Ramona's just like standing there and she's being awkward and annoying. She's super tipsy and she's like, that just smells so good, Teresa. Can I just have a little taste? So Teresa's like, sure. So she gives her a little piece of the chicken parmesan and pasta. And Ramona is just being so annoying. She's damn near having an orgasm over the food. And they're all staring at her like, Ramona, don't you need to finish getting ready? So now Michael says to Ramona, Ramona, we have hair and makeup waiting for you. Like, you might as well go up now and get ready. So Ramona's like, you know what? I don't want to go get my hair done now. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm going to just go as is. So then Ramona's like, and my hair doesn't look bad. Like, look at my hair. It looks good. And her hair looked terrible. So while she's trying to fish for compliments, Michael's looking at her like, girl, like I said, we have glam upstairs waiting for you. Like, you might want to get that hair touched up. So Ramona goes upstairs to her room, and before the hair and makeup people are going to do her glam, they let her know that they're going to need their payment from the other night. So she's like, hold on, I need to find my phone. So now Ramona leaves the room and she's going around the house for like 20 minutes trying to find her phone. And mind you, she's still tipsy. So she's like talking to herself, being weird, being awkward. And I was getting annoyed watching that because it's like, you have no regard for anybody's time. So because Ramona's going around the house, taking her sweet ass time trying to find her phone, she's holding up glam for everybody else. I said, Ramona is too damn old for this. You are almost 70 years old, still acting like a little brat. Like, what is wrong with you? So now it's time for dinner. The table is set up beautifully. Teresa did a phenomenal job with the food. So anyhow, everybody arrives. Cynthia's in a really bad mood because of Ramona holding everybody up for glam. She says that Ramona being late caused her to miss her slot. So she had to start on her makeup. And by the time the glam squad came to her, they only have 5 minutes to touch up her makeup. I would have been pissed too. Like, don't get in between me and my glam. Like, just don't do that, okay? I know that people feel like, well, it's only a dinner with all of them, but they're all on TV. Let's remember that. And I know when I'm on camera, I want to look good. So please don't. I would have cursed Ramona clean out for that because that wasn't right. So Teresa stands up and she gives a beautiful toast to all the ladies. She says that while there have been some highs and lows on this trip, she's having a great time and she's happy that they're all there. Then she goes on to personally recognize everybody at the table. She says that Kenya and Cynthia are beautiful on the inside out, and she's happy to be getting to know them and develop a friendship with the both of them. Then Teresa turns to Luann and says that she thinks that Luann is beautiful and sweet, but she just wants Luann to get more of a backbone. She doesn't want people to walk all over her. Now Kyle makes a toast to Teresa and how excited she is to try Teresa's food firsthand because she's seen all the recipes, she's seen Teresa's book, and she's just so pumped because she knows that food's going to be good. Now Cynthia decides to give a toast to Teresa, and she says, Teresa, I want to make a toast to you and apologize to you for being late to dinner. So now Cynthia turns to Ramona and says, So there was an issue with you not paying Glam the night before. So here goes Ramona lying about how the hairstylist came late, and because of that, she's not going to be paying her for her services. One thing about me, I don't play when it comes to paying people for their services. Stop trying to cheat people. The same way that you guys have bills, they have bills too. Pay people on time and stop trying to look for a freebie. That really pissed me off. And I've heard from multiple sources that Ramona is a cheapskate and she will try to get out of not paying folks for their services. I didn't like that behavior at all. That is such a pet peeve of mine. I hate cheapness. I hate people who have the money and are cheap. Like, they'll spend money on themselves, but when it comes to spending money for other people's services, all of a sudden want a freebie. Now all of a sudden they can't find their wallet. Now all of a sudden they got you later. I don't like that. So now Ramona says that Cynthia's glam isn't her glam. Cynthia says, well, my girl works under your girl, and you didn't want to pay her, so that's why everything got held up. So Ramona starts lying as usual, and Cynthia says, girl, you know how this works already. You should have paid your glam squad earlier. Like, we all know how this works. Pay folks on time. So Ramona's super dismissive, and she keeps saying, don't blame me for being late. Like, I had nothing to do with this. It's not my fault. Cynthia says, we're not going to do this, Ramona. You're the one who caused the holdup. You know that Bravo's good for playing that footage back. And baby, when they played it back, you see that Ramona is holding everything up, that it's already 25 minutes into Cynthia's appointment. So while Cynthia and Ramona are going at it, Kyle and Kenya are talking to each other, and Kyle says, I don't think it's about the bill. I think it's about something else. Then Kyle says that Cynthia gets angry very easily, and she's always trying to pick at something. I did feel like Cynthia's anger was warranted, because I feel like any one of these ladies would have been pissed had Ramona held them up. So, child, in the middle of all the chaos, Luann confronts Teresa, and she says, you know what, Teresa? I'm still stewing over you calling me a pushover. Like, don't you ever say that I don't have a backbone. Teresa's shocked, like, girl, where is this coming from? I was only trying to stick up for you. Like, I have your back. I'm on your side. So Luann says, you know what, I appreciate that, but again, please don't ever say that I'm a pushover, okay? Like, I have a backbone. You don't know me that well. Like, the way I deal with Ramona, I deal with her in my own way, and I do stick up for myself. So Teresa's like, you know what, girl, my bad, I'm sorry. I guess I'll never say anything again because that wasn't my intention to hurt your feelings. I thought that Luann blew that out of proportion because I was like, Teresa had been nothing but sweet to her on the yacht when her feelings were hurt. Like, Teresa did not say anything bad in my opinion. I thought Teresa was being very nice. So when Luann blew up at her, I was kind of like, girl, what? So now Ramona interjects and she says, are you guys really that boring where all you can do is talk about me? So now Kenya's really pissed at Ramona for making that statement, and she gets up and leaves the table. I really felt bad for Teresa because the fact that she spent so much time and effort and she made all that food out of love for all these ladies, and here they are disrespecting her by arguing. Kenya's leaving the table. Ramona and Cynthia are arguing. Luann has the nerve to catch an attitude with Teresa. I said, what a mess. If I were Teresa, I would have cursed everybody out, made my plate, and gone upstairs to my bed and just not talked to anybody until the next day. Because that was disrespectful. She put in a lot of time and effort to have a really nice dinner. Kyle goes after Kenya because she doesn't want Kenya to leave the dinner. And so she's like, Kenya, are you okay? Kenya says, no, I'm not. I'm just so pissed at the BS that Ramona's spewing. And for her to say that we're boring, talking about her, really set me off. So now Kyle talks Kenya off the ledge, and now Kenya is back at the table with all the ladies. So of course, Ramona and Cynthia are still going at it about the whole glam situation. Ramona says that Cynthia's lying, and then she just gets up and leaves. She says that she's tired of all this arguing, she's tired of defending herself, and she's just over it. Everybody is just over Ramona's BS. Kenya says, I think that Ramona is delusional and possibly insane. I said, Kenya, you are absolutely on point, because I too believe that Ramona is delusional and insane. She needs to be on somebody's couch immediately, because something is not right. Now Kenya apologizes for her behavior earlier on the yacht. She's sorry for losing her cool. And then she apologizes to Teresa for getting up from the table in the first place. Teresa says, Kenya, don't worry about it. And you could just tell that Teresa was just over it. I mean, there is nothing worse than having a really special night planned for people and the mood is ruined because of some stupid argument. And the episode ends with Ramona walking around the house talking to herself and the staff. This was another A+ episode. The entertainment factor on this series is a 10 out of 10. I don't know how to keep saying it. If you don't have Peacock, please go and get Peacock. It is $4.99 well spent. And also, Real Housewives of Miami is coming back in the next few weeks, and they're going to be streaming on Peacock. So I might give it a little look-see. I don't know yet. It actually does look really good, but I'm just trying to give you guys some more incentive to get Peacock if you haven't gotten it. But guys, I'm excited for the upcoming episodes. I'm excited to see how the rest of this trip turns out. And as always, thank you all for watching my recap. I hope you all enjoy. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.